No, we cannot do you, sir. Now, yes. Oh,
Now.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, headphones in the way. So Open Litter Map is the platform. It's an open source, interactive and accessible database of the world's litter and plastic pollution. I started this research in 2008 in the pre-iPhone era, if you remember that, a few generations ago. And I was interested in mapping dump sites and waste and pollution because this data can give the problem visibility. And with that visibility, we can use it to educate society and communicate the problem and try and stop the problems from happening again. And I was also interested then in using that data to work with the local authority or city governments or volunteers or other stakeholders to try and get these problems fixed. So a few years later, I was introduced to tokenization, and I already had this methodology that I studied in college. I'm a geographer with a background in mapping and data visualization. And I was introduced to the concept of tokenization. I was actively looking for a reward to give people for doing this work, for collecting this data. So instead of having a room full of plastic bracelets that I'd have to ship around the world, I thought, well, maybe there's something more digitally native that we can use to have some digital unit of merit. So that's how Littercoin was born in 2015. When I was introduced to tokenization, I just finished the Open Litter Map dissertation, and I started thinking more about the tokenomics. And one thing that people always ask me is they said, well, when is it going to be listed on the exchange? I can't wait to trade it. And because so many people kept asking me about when it would be listed on the exchange, just for that reason alone, I decided we won't list it on any exchange. So Littercoin is becoming a non-tradable token. We're not going to list it anywhere because most crypto schemes have turned into some sort of neo-Ponzi schemes where they're just traded speculatively backward and forwards. And I decided to make Littercoin a non-tradable token that won't be listed on any exchanges. And this is, it speaks to me personally, just because in Satoshi's white paper, he doesn't talk about exchanges at all. It's a peer-to-peer electronic cash that Satoshi talks about. He says nothing about a peer-to-exchange-to-peer system that's just increasingly turned into some kind of surveillance state. So exchanges, in my opinion, have ruined the ethos of Satoshi's original vision for a peer-to-peer system. And I believe that Littercoin fixes this because we're not going to put it on any exchange. Secondly is, how do we get Littercoin valuable? Well, how do we denominate it? Well, first of all, you can ask, well, what gives Bitcoin value? And it's only the fact that someone else is willing to pay more for it. It's not really backed by anything other than math and trust, which to me is good. But what we're going to do with Littercoin is we're going to have a smart contract. We're going to accumulate ADA in that smart contract as staking rewards. And these staking rewards will give every Littercoin value. But what we're going to do is basically greenlist a number of zero waste stores who will be the only ones who can exchange Littercoin for value from the smart contract. And if you're given a Littercoin and you send it anywhere else that's not the smart contract, your Littercoin is burnt. So that makes it non-tradable. You can't trade it for anything else, or the smart contract will programmatically just not accept it. And that turns Littercoin into climate currency because it can only be spent in zero waste stores. So the fiat monetary system is disproportionately accumulated by the fossil fuel industry and banks who have given over nearly $2 trillion to firms who cause plastic pollution. But Littercoin fixes this. And the idea is that you get your Littercoin for helping to fix the environment, and then you get to use your Littercoin to go out and help fix the environment. So it's a reward for giving people to for doing citizen science. So you use Open Litter Map, you contribute open source citizen science data using open source technology, and then you get the reward, which can't be spent in Bitcoin or in Burger King or McDonald's. And I think it's hilarious that the Bitcoin maxis see shopping in Burger King and McDonald's as a sign of progress. This is just more of the same. We're just going backwards at this stage if you think shopping in McDonald's or Burger King is good for the environment. So with Littercoin, you get data for collecting waste produced by these global corporations. And all of the data is open source and all of the code is open source. And then you don't get to use it in the fossil fuel or meat industry. Littercoin is vegan friendly. It can only be spent in zero waste stores and the climate economy more generally. And it's going to be backed by ADA. It's still a lot of work in development. So I got my first funding, only took 15 years. After 80 rejections, I got my first funding from Catalyst. So unsurprisingly, decentralized innovation fund disrupted access to science funding. Science funding has been corrupted by politics, because the politicians have been corrupted by the small number of families. Every supermarket there's only about 10 or 20 companies in most supermarkets that you're only shopping to support these small number of incredibly wealthy families. Hopefully Littercoin will fix this, because it can only be spent in mom and pop stores, typically smaller zero waste shops in the climate economy. But I could go on about this for hours. And if you'd like to know more, we host a weekly meeting every Thursday at 6 p.m. GMT. I'll put a link in the chat, but if you want to share an opinion or some feedback or help improve our app, it's open for your feedback and review. And we have another proposal in Fund 8 to add gamification to Littercoin. So right now the app is pretty boring. To be honest, it's uneventful, and we need stronger gamification elements. So both of my proposals in Fund 7 were rejected, but hopefully Fund 8 might be more successful, and we'll add these better gamification elements that go beyond points, badges, and leaderboards. That's the plan.
Yeah. So Sean, first of all, your app is not boring, so download it and use it. I'm using it and it's great. And when you download it and use it, also you can join the team basically of Cardano4Climate. Right? You need to say it's called Cardano ADA or something like this. It doesn't call Cardano4Climate. You remember the name, Sean, of the group?
Yeah. So we have a feature called Teams. This was all funded by Catalyst, and you can join a team or create a team. And we have a team for Cardano4Climate. And if you need basically a password or a key, an identifier to join the team, and the identifier to join the Cardano4Climate team is ADA #4 World. We might change that in the future. I'll put it in the chat. But you use that identifier, you join our team. And interestingly, if you visit openlittermap.com, click on the global map and keep it open, there's live events. So you'll see if a new team was created, or if a photo was uploaded, what location, or a new user signed up. So it's alive, and we're getting between 300 and 700 images uploaded every day, between 3 and 20 users every day. And it's growing. We're just taking off. Yeah, we have new university students, partners, all sorts of people signing up on a daily basis. So
that's great. Put your links and on the here, please, so everyone can join. And do you guys mind that we go now to speak a little bit about the different options we mentioned before, to how to transfer money to Pike? Let's do that. I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, what Sean is doing is amazing. How can I share my screen? Share screen. Okay. Okay, so I started something very simple. I started something very simple like this. Okay, so the objective is getting ADA to Malawi to be used, converted to local fiat money, right? So this is our objective. And basically solutions that we suggested up to now, maybe we can start with Eno. What is the yellow card, Eno, in Malawi? Eno is with us. No, Eno is not here. Okay, we'll go to the yellow card in a bit. So suggested Binance, right? Get a Binance debit card to cash out funds. I don't know, anyone use that Binance debit card up to now? Anyone knows about it or use that? Is it possible to use debit cards anywhere that you can take out money basically in the world?
I don't think, I'm not really sure, but from my understanding, the debit cards from Binance and stuff, they're limited to certain regions. Okay. So I'm not sure if they're available in Malawi. I think.
Might be limited, so that might be limited to certain regions. So that we need to check, right? To check. Okay. Let's put this in red. Okay. Anyone knows how much interest? Okay, but otherwise it's quite easy, probably to use like a normal debit card, but we need to check it's available. Okay, GoFundMe was another option, right? So yeah, central NGO funding platform, general funding platform. Yeah, the challenge is there that it's normally high cost and it takes a lot of time, right? Like Karim said, from my experience as well. Takes time to take out money. Sometimes there are minimums required also, minimum required to take out funds, and then normally there is also high band cost. I know a little bit about it. I don't know if you know, I'm involved with a company called Givingway, which is kind of like GoFundMe we have 10,000 NGOs, like a fintech company for NGO in developing countries, in the normal world. Okay, so what else? Any other ideas that we have? We can send directly to PayPal probably, right? Sean? Thanks.
Hey, so I've asked Pike, I got him started with Kraken, one of the major exchanges, and I don't think it's possible for him to withdraw to PayPal. Now we can just use PayPal and send it to him, but it kind of defeats the purpose of ADA.
Okay. Okay, so we can, yeah. Okay, cannot withdraw also euros. I mean, you cannot withdraw dollars or local currency from PayPal, or you cannot. PayPal doesn't work in Malawi, or?
I don't know the answer. I haven't gotten a reply, but I believe that it's not possible for Pike to withdraw from Kraken, at least, to PayPal.
Hello?
I don't know.
Hello, Shane.
Sean. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Pike from Malawi. Sorry for joining you late.
Hey, Pike.
I was experiencing some network problems here from Malawi.
Cool.
Welcome.
Unfortunately, I was also in the jungle picking up plastic, so we completed the activity very late today.
Okay, man, nice one. We're trying to find out how we can get the Cardano community to support your work.
Oh yeah, like I said last time, on Kraken, I was having some difficulties to withdraw some funds using the bank account. Yes. I tried to approach several banks here, but I was unable to get the bank which supports the IBAN number, which was needed on Kraken to transfer the funds.
I see. And did you try PayPal?
Yes, I did try, but now maybe the problem will be we don't normally use PayPal here, unless maybe if I connect to someone who has a PayPal abroad whom I know personally, of which I think I also had some difficulties because it was requesting that wherever you want to send money, I think the name should match exactly your name, so that's when you'll be able to transfer the funds. So I think the problem is still continuing until I found the final solution.
Yeah. And
yeah, sure.
You like your bank, will they accept a euro submission or a US dollar like a deposit? Or you need the IBAN to withdraw? Is that the problem?
No, our banks do accept both US dollars, euro, and the other major foreign currencies. But now, maybe the only challenge is the IBAN. Most of the banks here in Malawi, they stopped using IBAN numbers, but currently they're using only SWIFT codes.
I see. We have another potential solution, which is the yellow card. Did you take a look at this? I'll put it in the chat. And they don't accept our currency for Cardano, the ADA one, but they do accept Bitcoin and Tether. And you can sell there, and you might be, it says that you can withdraw instantly into your local currency. So that might be one option.
I think that's the same as Paxful. That's another one I saw, and I think it's the same concept. I don't know if it's the same concept, but it's peer-to-peer. But they seem to have like transactions from today in Malawi, like local currency. So I think that's a good sign. There's also just Tether, and I think Ethereum and Bitcoin on there as well. I think you have to either, it's kind of like an order book. So kind of like Uniswap, you can imagine it, where you put, let's say I want to sell this much Bitcoin for, and you have to, I think you select the payment method that you want to receive it in. And obviously they have like loads of options there. I was looking and it's like pretty full of options. And I mean, if you can find something like Pike's bank account or whatever the local vendor is that he can take money out on there, I think it could be possible, yeah.
Okay, that might be a solution, Pike.
But what he needs to do to get to do it? So we send him a Bitcoin.
So I'd say first to check the available options on there and see if like Pike's bank account is on there, and if you can select, yeah, his bank account and as like a withdrawal method or whatever it is, and then then we need to set up a wallet on there, send him, I guess, Tether or whatever the easiest one, Bitcoin. And then he could be able to, transact through there with someone else in Malawi, I'm guessing, who's looking to buy Bitcoin or whatever it is. It's a short-term solution, it seems like. Obviously, it's not something that's going to work long-term, but for now, I think it could work if we can find like someone who's interested on there.
Are you there, Pike?
Yes, unfortunately, I'm losing up the network. I don't know if you can write me something, Shane. Maybe you can send me via Telegram or WhatsApp later in the evening. Like I said, I was in the field, so I'm taking a lot of videos and photos. Actually, the battery is just going down me. I don't know if you can accept choose for now. Anytime I think it will be going off.
I got it. I'll send you a message on Telegram. We have two options. One of them is called Yellow Card. I think you might use this, and the other one, Paxful. I'll take a look, and I'll send you some links, and you can try and sign up and see if that works.
Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you, Pike. Let's try. I'll send Pike those. I'll send Pike those links, and we'll see if we can get him some money. Be a nice win story for everybody.
No, Yellow Card looks like the better option, to be fair. I'm having a look at their website, but obviously, he needs to sign up and see if the withdrawal options for him are, no IBAN and something that he can do.
Okay, so we will be able to send let's say Tether or Bitcoin, and then he can basically somehow send it to his bank and take it out. Okay, it should be interesting to know the interest in the way.
Yeah, reading here for Praxful, I'm not familiar with it. Maybe Bruno knows more, but it does seem like it's more peer-to-peer, which again can work. Like just going back to the days, like 6-7 years ago, even in Canada, right? Like the way you bought Bitcoin was kind of peer-to-peer exchanges. Like some people had it, some people didn't, and you could connect. So I think that's definitely would search stuff like this out where you can use peer-to-peer. Again, there's probably somebody in Malawi. It's obviously a big country, but there's gonna be someone that will probably be willing to transact, right? So
yeah, and then it goes, and then normally he buys it from you and he send money to your bank account, or he send you basically where the money goes.
Well, you can make arrangements, right? You can do arrangements, right?
Or you
so
just get to,
you just get me to meet up and you do the exchange, or you do a transfer, or again, particularly in low countries that maybe don't have that banking system, again, you can meet up with people. Obviously, there's risks in that, but definitely different ways it can work.
Not sure we want to include in here already, but I think it was Melanie who mentioned that WADA is looking to build something, or they're doing a proposal now, at least for the next fund, which is related to having an easy exchange for local currencies into ADA. I think it's the WADA DEX. I'm not sure. I just saw it briefly, but I think that, as a longer term solution, that would be good if that manages to get funded.
Okay. Not ready yet. Okay, no, it's good. It's good to. It's definitely a problem to solve. It's also. I mean, we need to look into all the what's the cost in the middle, right, of each one of the solution. I mean, if yellow card and take 10%, so we need to also to consider that. Yeah, please, sir, Gonzalo.
Hi everyone. Yeah, this is an interesting problem. I did work when we went with the university to research on fair trade in Guatemala. We were there for 3 months with the UC Berkeley, and it was really difficult to send funds, from whatever you are paying here in the US to the growers of the farms, to receive the money. And I think this is probably the same situation, even though you have two options here. I mean, one is to think about the long term and the short term. I believe in the short term, the easiest one, and I don't know if it's a bad word, but is to send cash to the bank, or to the local bank in Malawi, right? And they can issue a debit card, right? And you just fund that debit card, I think. But of course, then you're not talking about ADA or anything. And on the other hand, I'm not sure what the banks are gonna do with the KYCs, meaning they don't know where the money is coming from, and I don't know what are the restrictions there on the KYCs. But I think the easiest way is just to give him a debit card that can be funded.
Yeah, so the debit card was the idea of Binance. I need to see. Afia, can you tell us where you are? Thank you for that, Gonzalo. Afia, can you tell us where you are with the project? Can we do a trial maybe in Malawi?
Sorry, what did you say?
Hey, Afia, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, and you? I was on call with Messi as well. So what did you said? Where can we?
Yeah, I said, I mean, you're working on a solution, or you did a proposal.
Yeah, we did a proposal, as he was saying, the WADA DEX proposal, and it's a way that you'll be able to have an easy flow of cryptocurrency. So that's something that we put in, and we are praying that it should go on the difficulty that we saw in Africa. And through the help of Suggest, we formulated a proposal. It's been put into Fund 8. So hopefully, if some of these issues will be, and then do that one, I'm not sure I'm supposed to say, but whether funded or not, that's one WADA is trying to also look for funding elsewhere to still get it implemented.
Okay, and Ken, I think that will be wonderful. And in Malawi, do you have teams in Malawi or not yet?
Currently, we don't have any contact in Malawi, but if it comes on, I'm sure we will get in touch with Spike to see how to bring him on board, because right now his situation is currently on board and it's critical. I think most of the African countries that are on Cardano now have means of exchanging ADA apart from Malawi. So yes, we might talk to him and see how we can bring him on board.
Yeah. Okay. Not a balance debit card. Gonzalo, you want to say something more? A local bank debit card, okay. Gonzalo, you want to say something more?
Yeah, exactly. If you take a look at that link, it's not a Binance debit card. I'm talking about local banks, and you have like 7 really, good banks. It's really easy probably for him to get a debit card, not a credit card, but a debit card. And then definitely you send money there and it's really easy to withdraw.
But the debit card is connected to an account, right? Not to a crypto account, to a normal account.
But the crypto thing, we do it on this side, meaning you probably connect, a wallet, a crypto wallet to send to that debit card, meaning. Sorry?
Definitely American.
Sorry, Afia? Yeah. No, please continue, Gonzalo. Sorry.
No, what I was saying is, I think the easiest part would be to do because Binance is really, I know in developing countries, it's not that easy to open, right, the Binance account. So that adds another layer of complexity. I believe it's easier.
I think that could be an option. I guess we just need someone who has the ability to send, like Pike was saying, with the Swift payments. So rather than with an IBAN, I don't know who he has it. If Sean has it, for example, he's already connected with Pike, then I guess that's what you're saying, Gonzalo. Like Sean will sell the ADA to his bank account, send via his bank account to Pike, and it's kind of a short-term solution. And it could work, but yeah. We'll have like the same problems with traditional finance, where we could have some delays on the funds, and they could ask, okay, what is this for? Like, but hey, it's what a solution might be for now.
But can we open a Binance bank account and get a Binance debit card and send it to Pike? Or it's not?
I just don't think they support the local currency. So okay. I think they only support big currency. So I feel like it might be possible, but I don't think he will be able to even. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he can take Malawi somewhere.
Like, I don't think they have like a Malawi license to issue it or whatever that is. I'm not sure.
But
if he has like an existing credit card, like if he has an existing debit card that we can send money to in the short term, like someone here just sells ADA and sends him the money.
Yeah, to his basically bank account in general. You can, the debit card is connected to a bank account, right? You cannot send it directly to the debit card. Oh yes. Maybe you can do it online in some places. It's possible, or?
Probably not, because it'll be an international transfer. So it'll be, you send it to the bank account. So I'm guessing Pac already has a bank account with one of the banks. And hopefully if they do, he said they accepted euros and dollars. So hopefully you can just do an international transfer and, have to wait for all of those, traditional finance processes to go through, which probably be a while. But hey, it's taken a while anyways to get him some funds. So
yeah. Another option that I thought about is to actually try and get, because he needs the money to buy certain stuff, right? So I thought about 2 options. One, either we get a MFI, which is a microfinance institution on the ground, we can start trailing with him. It's basically can try doing some trials where we keep some kind of liquidity, but we speak with an institution and we send him the money and he gave to Pike the money. And second option could be to actually find a shop if Pike needs to buy certain things. So to find a shop, a big shop, it has to be like a big chain or something that would be ready to do this trial. And then we can send the ADA to the shop, and then they potentially will keep some ADA as a reserve, and they can just 2 ideas to try. Because in some countries it's better to keep some reserves anyway in crypto, right? Again, my wife is Argentinian, and if I'm there, I will definitely put money in crypto than in pesos. So unfortunately, but that's the reality, right? It's in 10 years it went down 80 times. They devaluated 80 times. So yeah. So probably there is also some organization that would like to put it anyway, but then we need to see how they do with their books. But the MFIs could be one. If we can find local microfinance institution that are willing to collaborate. You know, this in the local microfinance institution is normally one that give loans to in developing countries, like $100 loan, $500 loans, and so on. So that's something that can be interesting. The only challenge is that they're charging high interest, so we need to see about that. Local retailer. Pike is not with us anymore, right, on the call? Right?
No, I think he left because of the connection issues.
Yeah, Sean, so if you are here, I mean, I will ask him two things. If he knows any local MFIs that we can speak with, and if he knows any local retailers where you need to buy stuff. I mean, except for the telephone, you need to buy some other stuff on a regular basis, if I remember. So if you have someone that we can speak with, and then we have a chat with them and see, I mean.
True. I mean, I offered to give him money to buy a better smartphone so he could use the app. But like not even the high tech smartphone providers. I think he said he tried a couple of Chinese shops and they wouldn't accept crypto. So that was a bit of a red flag for me. Like if they're not going to accept it, chances are that others are probably less likely to accept it.
Yeah.
But I think I found this yellow card thing before. I Googled it. I don't know if Pike signed up yet. But I think we're going to follow that up, and I didn't know if Paxful, but I'm going to follow that up as well. I think Paxful is like local Bitcoins, right? It's buyers and sellers, just traders. So there could be some risk there. It'd be nice to be able to just do it online. Maybe we could also try and reach out to like Kraken support. Pike didn't have any luck reaching out to Kraken. But we could also try and reach out to somewhere like Binance on his behalf. They might be faster, unfortunately, to reach out to us just because they have the IBANs or whatever. But it's an interesting problem to try and solve. I hope we can help Pike and get him the funding that he needs.
It's a huge problem. Anyone knows of any other related Cardano project trying to solve that?
To be honest, I think this is a problem for the Cardano Foundation in a lot of ways. Of course, we are the community and we're going to push for this stuff out in our own way. But if we can get someone from over there, I think they got a new hire recently. He's head of partnerships. I don't know if we can somehow, some way, get him to push Binance or push Kraken because
I spoke with them today actually with Alex and from the foundation. We didn't speak about that, but the new hire is also going to be here in Geneva. It's Peter. And I connected with him. I can try with them. I will ask them. Good idea. So, by the way, we have regular updates with the Cardano Foundation team and with IOG. So if to related impact issues. So any things that are we want to bring to them and discuss with them, and many times they are joining also the weekly meetings, but also regardless. So if there's any issue that someone wants to explore with them, so let us know. And we can explore, we can have the call together. They're quite accessible and helpful. But I will ask on that. It's a good idea. Gonzalo, you shared another link.
Yes, I think in some countries you can send money to mobile prepaid cards. That could be maybe another option. And I've seen that here. Zoom with PayPal do it with the Airtel in Malawi. So
PayPal do it with Airtel?
Airtel, yep. Is a mobile, is like AT&T, I think. It's a mobile line, but you can get a prepaid card, not only to be used to pay for phone, but it's money.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a very good one, could be. Okay.
Why not?
Okay, we are going to keep this doc. I'm sharing again the link with all of you. I mean, it's a subject that we will need to come back to. I will speak with the Cardano Foundation. If anyone have ideas to put and knows more info, you just log into the doc and you can add and change any info you want to. So feel free to do that. Let's try to see per countries what's the best solution, and yeah, how can we get this done? Prepay. Okay, any other ideas on that, feedback?
Yeah, hey, Yorni, I just found a link to, again, it looks kind of a dated website, but it has a list of all these microfinance members in Malawi. Now, I don't know how dated it is, but definitely there's some contacts there that might be an alternative to kind of the major banking network. But anyway, just dug that up, but again, not sure how current it is. Okay.
Microfinance. I
put a link in the chat.
So you know that way. Yeah. You want to do a trial to contact some of them? Can do it together. And
well, again, I think it makes sense, like for someone who's a bit more on the ground in Malawi to understand. You know, at least these are some leads. Like, there might be people that he knows, or institutions he knows.
And yeah, you have 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I put you on mute. Yeah, I think this one or the other option, what I will try to do, I don't promise on that, but I mean, you know, the way it works normally, they get the money from microfinance institutions, which are based a lot, like 35% of the money to microfinance come from Geneva or from Switzerland. And then it goes to, it comes from investors, pension funds, investors give it to banks that then give it to microfinance institutions like the list you showed.
Yeah.
So if we can get to actually the banks here that give money to them, they might able to give us some contacts. I contact someone already, but he didn't know anyone there. So I will try to see. But that's one way if anyone already. Sorry, yeah.
Thanks for all the help, guys. We also need Pike to do to be involved in this process and try things like yellow card first. And I think maybe we'll just move down that list. And if we can get Pike to just check every box to say we've pulled together all these options, and let's get his feedback on every one of them.
Yeah, can you send him, if he can fill it up, can you send him this list, this link? And if he can fill it up.
Yeah, well, he's on Telegram, so
yeah.
he's in the group. So if you can just post it there, I'll tell him to click on it.
Perfect, I will do that.
Cool.
Yeah, and tell him if he can fill it up, and then we will know yeah, his situation. That would be helpful, actually. Very, very good idea.
Yeah. All right, guys, I got to bounce, but thanks everybody for your time, your help.
No, thank you. Keep on the incredible work you're doing.
Every day.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
So let me close that. Good. So yeah, I mean, that's a big problem to solve. So we kind of listed key areas, and yeah, Heinz. And we'll give the Heinz to fill it up. Not Heinz, sorry, Pike to fill it up. Yeah, I think that's great. It's a nice collaborative way in a few minutes, and it's a problem definitely we need to solve. Good. We are at the end of the meeting. Anyone else wants to add something? How did it go there, Heinz, with the other team?
Pretty good, pretty interesting. It sounds like you also did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, I will share with you here fast also again the screen. I mean, basically we trying to solve a key issue, not an easy one. And we came up kind of with different ideas, and we will let now I will keep again the link here. We like the Pike, test the different ideas in Malawi and come back to us with feedback. So at least we will know. Yeah. So that's kind of what we did.
Okay,
anyone?
guys,
Yeah.
I need to jump. Thank you.
Thank you, Heinz. Have a good day. Anyone have something he wants to share, to say? I mean, we're kind of in the end of the meeting, but happy to continue and discuss if anyone have something to share or questions.
Hey. Yeah, it's a really interesting question that I hadn't even really thought about before. But it would also be interesting to think about like what are goals for the future for this kind of a thing, where we don't need exchanges, we don't need on-ramps, off-ramps. I'm sure Sean has a lot to say about that. And I guess, yeah, a place like Malawi, it sounds like very challenging. But maybe in a place like Ethiopia, where there's more focus on getting people wallets out there, then liquidity would be, or it would maybe be a little easier to solve those kinds of problems earlier on. But it's definitely something that we got to think about for our Ethiopia project. Now, of course, these people are not, for the most part, using currency for anything. You know, they're subsistence farmers, which is a word we use, I guess, for self-sufficiency and community sufficiency, but still they're, you know, we can play a role in increasing their quality of life and everything. So I don't know, maybe something for next time. I'd love to hear.
No, I mean, this 100%, and this gets into a kind of if you're able to, I mean, with Pike, it's a very specific problem, right? We want to send the money to a person, and how can we do that? What you are raising is very, very important, and it's kind of it's an ecosystem kind of problem. So maybe we can actually build an ecosystem of exchange between the different players, right? The people that do the seedling, you might be able basically to have one entry point and then use ADA even as an internal ecosystem between, let's say, 10 different players that are collaborating on a regular basis. But yeah, it's a bigger discussion.
Right, and yeah, and as long as there's farmers that are used to receiving ADA or Littercoins, everybody's got to access food, whether they're buying it or not. So if you're buying food, you know, it seems like getting farmers involved is always a good thing. Getting them. Wow.
Of course. Anyway, I think sometime actually what happened in El Salvador, you know, starting kind of from a system that doesn't work somehow, and introduce a new system. Sometimes can be beneficiary, like what happened in Kenya with the mobile payment, right? And yeah, maybe we can find a way to duplicate that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's, you know, it is an investment. So if you're somebody in a place like Malawi and you don't have a whole lot of currency, it might be hard to do work and just stack savings. But, you know, it is, it will hopefully eventually appreciate in value and have more liquidity in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. I mean, that's it's very important also there.
Cool. All right. It's been a good one.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, it's mind-blowing to put everyone together and everyone give ideas. Very interesting.
Thanks, Jerome, for hosting. I got to drop myself.
Okay.
Always a good session.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Lawrence. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to jump
guys.
off too.
Thanks.
See you all.
See you guys.
Gonzalo, we are going to speak soon, huh? Oh, mi left. Yeah, perfetto. Bueno, siamo acá. Hello, Bart and Satwik.
Hi.
How are you, Satwik?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Good. It's your first. Yeah, tell me, please, sir.
Yeah, I mean, we were just having a larger conversation about carbon offsetting, and I just wanted to get the Cardano Climate sort of, or perhaps your personal view on what you think about carbon offsetting and
Ooh la
whether
la.
you think
Yeah.
legitimate.
I mean,
form
first,
of,
no, sorry. No, I'm happy to hear what you think about it. I mean, it's a huge area and very interesting for a lot of people from the community. There's a lot of people dealing with that. We're actually thinking to make the next conference, not after, not this one. This one is going to be a plastic and Cardano. The next one to do it on Cardano and carbon. There's a lot of projects. There's a lot of issues with that. A lot of opportunities. Yeah, it's a very interesting subject. In my view, I mean, very, yeah. What
Okay.
you want to share a little bit what you are doing in that, or?
No. We were just having an internal discussion where my stance was that carbon offsetting is a deeply problematic issue, and I was sort of gathering articles by Greenpeace. I mean, and various other, it seems to me that the only people who seem to think that carbon offsetting is a good idea are economists, not climate scientists. And that seems to be a very huge problem to me personally, because every single climate scientist that I've spoken to, I've been working as an environmental activist myself for the last 10 years. And there is absolutely nobody who's coming from the point of view of the environment who seems to think that there is anything good about carbon offsetting. And yet at the same time, I see repeatedly in economic forums that this issue people seem to be speaking about it as though there is good and there is bad. But that does cause me a little bit of concern that there seems to be overwhelming scientific consensus in favor of outright saying that carbon offsetting is a scam, but there's still people kind of thinking as though there is good and bad in it. And yeah, so I just wanted to see if we can have it.
Yeah, I mean, we can have a long discussion about it and actually have proposals about it for Fund 8. So yeah, I mean, everything that works for, I learned from someone very smart on impact side that everything that exists for 30 years and doesn't do an impact, you have a problem with that, right? With the system. So today, yeah, as you said, there is a lot of, there's a lot of challenges with that today. And we have some kind of an opportunity with blockchain to show where the money is going and what's the impact that is happening, right, with the money, and live kind of the economic game that there is between the multinational to basically greenwashing and all of that. So that's what brought me, by the way, into crypto, is to the ability to have this transparency and traceability kind of where the money is going and what's the impact happening. And I think there's a lot of interest for that in the community today. I can share with you one proposal that I'm working on. I mean, just as an example, but I saw many other great proposals on that area. Let me check. So I call it even NGO transparency. But there is. Yeah, I mean, but in general, Cardano, the project with Veritree of Cardano? Are you aware to that project?
No, I haven't.
So Veritree is basically, it's a blockchain type solution to, one second, blockchain type solution to follow on tree planting. I mean, tree planting is a huge issue also. And kind of Cardano is working strongly with Veritree, and we kind of created the Cardano forest. So that's kind of at least verifying that the trees were planted, right?
Right. No, I mean, I'm not sure how much time you guys have, but I just wanted to, what I was trying to say is not the issue of transparency of money in the process of carbon offsetting, but carbon offsetting as an idea in general. I think that, the idea that you can plant trees in one part of the world to offset pollution in another part of the world itself is deeply problematic, if you understand what I'm saying. So it is known as greenwashing. And I remember at the beginning of this meeting that you guys had mentioned that some other project that you saw was greenwashing, and you were not, sort of okay with those sort of ideas. But carbon offsetting is a greenwashing project, and you seem to be suggesting that it could be good.
No, so there is different approaches, right, to that. So first of all is how you reduce your carbon, right? I mean, there's different approaches to do. There is a certain carbon. There's people that live in a certain situation. So number one is how you reduce your carbon, right? Number two is how you help to reduce someone else's carbon. Number three is how you actually take the carbon out of the atmosphere, right? Because the carbon is in the atmosphere. So how you support projects that take it out of the atmosphere. And then how you communicate that. But the reduction of course, the number one is how you reduce your carbon, right? In general, but that's something that we, education and many things. Yeah, please, Gonzalo.
Sadwid, I have a question for you, because that's my proposal is related to that, on carbon offsetting. Why you're skeptical about the offsetting? Because when I first presented to the climate, Cardano4Climate, the first thing that they told me is exactly why you don't work on a proposal to reduce carbon footprint instead of carbon offsetting. So what is your take on that? I mean, what's your opinion? Why is greenwashing? Yeah,
reducing carbon footprint and carbon offsetting, as you mentioned, are two separate things. I'm specifically talking about carbon offsetting, and in the chat, I just shared an article by Greenpeace where there is a clear delineation about why carbon offsetting is in fact a scam. So reducing carbon footprint, on the other hand, is a particular industry is basically reducing its own carbon footprint, and that's a great thing. That's something we should all be striving for. But carbon offsetting, on the other hand, what it says is that I could be planting trees in India for a corporation that is polluting in Africa. And that, I think, in this very explanation, you can clearly see where there is a problem, because carbon offsetting seems to assume that I can plant trees in India to offset carbon pollution in Africa, which is not true, because no matter how many trees I plant in India, the people who live in Africa, in and around the industrial areas, are going to die, are going to be disease-ridden, are going to face all kinds of problems that come out of pollution. So I think there is clear scientific consensus that carbon offsetting and reducing carbon footprint are two separate things, and reducing carbon footprint is something that's desirable, whereas carbon offsetting is something that is essentially a scam. You could go through the article that I've shared over here. I think they have made a very good job of explaining why it is a scam.
Yeah, I think it's excellent points. And I think if we want to, we have a transformation to make, right, for the world. So one is, okay, getting people aware to the problem and see how can you reduce it. How can everyone reduce their own carbon, right? And it's a process. Unless it's come from government initiatives, the governments are using also. Anyway, one is come, also with kind of what everyone can do, what your community can do, what your government can do. That's number one. But I think in parallel to that, if you are polluting without any barriers, and then you say, okay, you know what, I put some money just for my conscience and to have it on the papers, of course it doesn't make sense. But you might be reducing your carbon and also trying to improve the situation somewhere else. I don't see a problem with that personally. But yeah, but that's my view. Please, Melanie. Melanie, please.
Sorry to interrupt. Just checking in. If anybody has a slide for Idea Fest, you can send it directly to me on Telegram. Just a link to me directly, and I'll put it in the slide deck. And second, did we solve anything for Pike? Because I'm just messaging him now on Telegram.
I will message you. Yeah, with Pike, what you need to do, I'm sending you the link, and we came up with different great suggestions, and if he can fill them up from his side. So if you can try the different suggestions presented there and fill up the table.
Okay, good. I'll do that. Thank you, Yoram. I'm going to buzz off here, which makes you host.
Perfect.
Okay, so thank you.
But But Satwik, I think we would love to work with you. I mean, personally and as a community. I mean, if we can encourage people to reduce their footprint, I mean, that's wonderful, right? Regardless what they do offsetting, if they can reduce their footprint and we can find a model for that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That will be wonderful. I mean, that's number one, right? How do you reduce your footprint? How we educate people, why it's important. Then again, if we can also invest in forest preservation and tree planting, I think it's also important.
I completely agree with that. My only problem is that giving people an option of offsetting is basically working against these ideas, right? Like, because once a corporation has the opportunity to offset, then why would they bother working so hard to reduce their carbon footprint? It is so much easier to offset carbon than to reduce carbon footprint. So
No,
essentially what we are doing at a global proportion.
It's a good question, but even if
I'm
you look
just
at
saying that.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
You know, even if you look on the Cardano blockchain, okay? So I don't know if you know, there is a great team, a group within Cardano called stake pool operators called Climate Neutral Cardano, and they did a calculation of what's the footprint of Cardano blockchain is. Okay, so first of all, let's know what's the problem is. What is our footprint, right? That's number one. And it's only for the blockchain for now, but they did a proposal also to calculate of the Cardano company, what's the footprint as part of that, and hopefully of the ecosystem. But first of all, you know what you estimate what is your problem. Second, they say, okay, how can we start motivating people, the SPOs, the stake pool operators, to use more and more green basically servers, green energy, right? To start reducing the footprint. So that's step number one. Third, they say, okay, at the meantime, we want anyway to mitigate it, and we are supporting Cardano Forest in this case, which is very tree, and they kind of help to support that, and they calculated that Cardano need to put 300,000 trees. So what I'm saying, if it comes from the right place, and you put together multiple activities, I mean, that's kind of you have an action plan of multiple activities. But yeah, you might have some companies that say, okay, I mean, we just put $1 million, we offset our carbon. In the books, it's great. But
I mean, it's not just one company. I think all major polluters have, I mean, $1 million is nothing for them. Like, they just like throw it away on a daily basis. So they can easily, so I mean, that's just what I wanted to flag, because I would like to see Cardano Climate get to a place where we are able to, you know, sort of differentiate good proposals from like what is essentially.
Yes, so I have a proposal. I shared with you one proposal, one aspect of that, where we calculate, okay, how much money really got to the NGO and what they really did with that, right? That's another issue. Because if you do offsetting, it goes somewhere. So how much money really gets to the field? And what's the impact of this money, right? It's very simple.
But that's what I'm saying. That's only a very small part of the problem. I mean, even if the money does go to the right place, it is still not a good solution, because it gives a legal opportunity for companies to just continue to pollute.
I agree. I understand your point.
I've also shared an article by Greenpeace. So I'm just trying to say that this is not my own personal opinion, but this is considered opinion of many climate scientists. So it'd be nice if you could maybe go through the article, and maybe we'll continue the conversation about keep the conversation going.
Yeah, I mean, we can have a Cardano4Climate discussion about it. I mean, we can choose one of the weeks and actually open it for discussion and share ideas and try to find some action items. But it's definitely, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your opinion and direction. And yeah, it's
why for listening to me, really.
Yeah, why not to reduce what we do instead of just mitigating it? Yeah, makes a lot of sense. It's challenging, right? I mean, if I look on myself personally, I live in a house, and okay, I have a car, and so what do you do? then go to a smaller place. I mean, what do you do in a personal life as well, right? On that.
I really don't personal at an individual level. It's really a problem because it's just like one person, but one corporation in one day can pollute as many as like 1 million people, right? Like 1 million people polluting a year is what one corporation pollutes in a day or maybe an hour. So there is a clear difference. If we are not able to find solutions at the personal level, as long as we are not encouraging corporations to do the same thing, I think that is definitely a huge battle that we have won.
Okay, so your focus is very interesting actually. Let's focus, and this is something you can collaborate also with Heinz actually from DLT360. Let's create kind of a framework for companies to reduce their carbon footprint instead of just offsetting. And you can, I mean, something that you can check. I mean, how much every year? If every year they need to pay the same amount to reduce their footprint, it means to offset their footprint. It means that they are not reducing it, right? And we can have a parallel path where they need to show that every year they reduce it, and kind of they're going to be rated by that. I mean, again, I'm just sharing ideas based on what you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, if you target this market, there can be a framework to build and try to get on board businesses that are more climate related, and then communicate it to their customers, and then the customers make a choice, right? Yeah, I like a lot your point. Thank you really for sharing that, and we can have basically a discussion in one of the next meetings if you want to lead that discussion.
I'll definitely be on the next meeting. Maybe we can have a similar discussion that time.
We can have a breakout room, or we can have a presentation in the main. You can present your idea in the main session, and then have a breakout room.
I would really like that. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So stay in touch with us in the Telegram and so on. I mean, this is the community. I mean, look, this community is community of all of us. It's not belong to anyone. It's all of us, and it's all everyone will try to promote things he's passionate about, and use this platform to promote these things, and see if he can group with other people to collaborate with him or with her to push these things. So you're most welcome to do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And everyone else. Obviously. Karim, how are you?
Hey, I was just writing your note, Yoram. I didn't want to hog the general channel. Simon and I made some progress on building a mechanism to track tasks in the core group and the C4C group, and he's done some great work on GitHub. So now we can have a backlog of all the tasks. It's already in the shared. Simon shared it. So in Google Sheets. So we have all the tasks that get created every meeting, say for example, and you can track difficulty level. And from the difficulty level, then you can assign if you're going to reward any member who's working on a task, and then have the link in that sheet to the GitHub repository. So for example, Simon's done some fantastic work around all the tasks for the event. So, the videos, the postings on social media and all these things. And my thinking was how to create something generic that we can use, C4C can use all the time, not just for the event. It's a backlog of all the tasks that are happening, assigning names to them and the difficulty and the date of completion, due dates and comments. And then when you're doing your accounting for the funded proposals, if somebody did some work that you wanted to reward them, then that sheet could be used for accounting.
Excellent.
And then we'd find a way to where Simon and I were talking, and we ideally try to bring that into GitHub as a proper extension, not just as a parallel Excel sheet eventually.
Excellent.
So whenever you and Melanie are ready, we can share it with you, present it to you.
Yeah, I mean, we can discuss it. You plan to present it in the next core meeting, maybe, or?
Yeah, we can do that.
Perfect. That's
we can
perfect.
do that. I think Simon just shared the link to it.
Yeah. And together with that, just to share with everyone, Simon obviously know it well. I mean, also we are part of a bigger experiment, Cardano4Climate. We are going to get some tokens, Gimbal Labs tokens, that be given also to the community for different type of participation. I mean, we'll see how we are going to still need to define as a community how we are going to give it. but it's kind of to show who is participating, who is sharing, who is coming on board for the meetings, and then we need to figure out how we build it. Yeah.
I think what you guys have done, Simon, was showing me the template for every meeting. It's really great because every meeting you have everything. You have the recording, you have who attended, but then the tasks thing was kind of sticking out. So my thinking was how to create a very simple MVP, minimum viable product that can be used in a simple Excel or Google sheet, and then somehow incorporate it into the grander toolbox or platform. As C4C starts to build platform, then you could bring that in. You can easily code that in.
That's excellent.
That resolves your accounting and your payments.
And I will tell you something more. One of the proposals of C4C for this fund, which I hope will be funded, is how it's for the Open Standard Challenge, is how we as a community, we can build standards to basically organize a community, right? And that's directly what your work now is directly connected to that. So it's kind of the standard we build to kind of organize and manage a community. So I really hope it's going to get funded, also this one.
Well,
really cool
now that I'm involved, I feel guilty that but I've already assessed a lot of the proposals and you got good marks because, to be honest,
don't feel guilty.
I think it's unethical for me to be assessing our own proposals since I've kind of somehow being adopted by the C4C group. I'm even ashamed, I do consume some plastic, but I recycle, but like even ashamed of how I'm drinking water from the plastic bottle. But I'm a nature lover. When people here in Dubai do camping, they throw a lot of garbage, and I created an initiative that was recognized by the Sheikh of when you go to a campsite, make sure you leave it cleaner than when you arrive there. So I think that I don't feel like an imposter, but I probably need to clean up my plastic footprint here.
What I like to see when people share their they feel sorry for things to do, and I'm definitely doing things that are not perfectly climate friendly, but I think everyone just does what they can without breaking a leg.
Yeah, I think we can inspire each other, right? A little bit. I mean, we can inspire, we can show that people care about it and that we are doing things and try to do more.
I mean, Yoram, you've inspired me. And yesterday I had a call with the professional services team. They're actually all coming to Dubai. I didn't know. And I think Charles is coming as well for this Binance Blockchain Week. And I mentioned your name. I told them, how I've gotten into the Catalyst community thanks to you and Nadeem, and it's really amazing to be part of this. And the more I spend time in Catalyst, the more I think about how there's the wisdom of the crowd, right? The wisdom of the team, but then these open standards and things that we need to create the tools, we need to guide people and create things that are reusable. So when we create a template, how do we make it so generic that it can be used internally for any meeting, any event, any task, and then how we can extrapolate that to other teams and other groups. So this is a really interesting discussion. I hope it gets funded, and I'll be glad to collaborate on it.
I mean, we are doing it anyway, right? I mean, something that we are doing anyway, these kind of things, but if we get funded for that, at least kind of we will have also a framework that we are kind of committed. But it's things that we are doing anyway. I mean, the community is growing, and more things are happening, and so things that we need to do anyway.
I assessed the DLT 360 proposal. I was there. I think it was in cross-chain, or because I went into challenges where I didn't propose, and I need to connect to Heinz because I also come from the supply chain side of the business, and what they're doing with the risk and opportunity radar is really interesting. I actually have my ex-boss who asked me to write a white paper on blockchain, and I'm thinking of a topic, and one of them is SSI, self-sovereign identity, but then I'm thinking this risk this risk and opportunity radar is really interesting. So I need to connect to Heinz.
Yeah, definitely connect to him, and I think what he's doing is very important. How to, and he's the right guy to do it. Definitely connect to him. Good. No, but Karim, it's so good to be you here, to have you here. I mean, you have started to be important part of the team, and coming us, giving ideas, being active, and finally, it's about us, people joining and doing things, right? I mean, again, it's all more people will join, we do things, more we will achieve. And
and we're building something. I mean, we're building something. I mean, today everybody in the Cardano community is happy because of the price, and the energy was a bit low. I'm part of a Middle East Cardano WhatsApp group, you know, and people were starting to feel down and things they didn't understand. But you know, the belief that we have in what Charles and the IO team are building is very solid. You know, the foundational principles, the story I tell is, guys, so, you know, I want to build a project. It's called Yum Chain. You're aware because you gave me some advice. I don't want to build it on a flimsy blockchain that's going to be crashed or hacked or, you know, stop working. And I think what we're doing is really, really important. And Charles has the vision, right? He's the brains behind it. This whole Catalyst thing, I mean, it's magical. I don't think there's any other blockchain that has the same community. And when I see all these meetings and all the work that's coming out of it and the projects, and I want to encourage the private companies, and that's why I've assessed, I think, probably 30. I wanted to ask you, Yoam, about the payments for the assessment. What do you know about, like, how they reward us for the assessments?
Okay, so Simon is actually good to ask that as well, but I will say. I mean, there is a big budget for that, first of all. I mean, the budget for the total assessment is 640,000, and then there is kind of a budget per proposal, per proposal, which I don't remember the exact number, but eventually you can get, if you have, so the assessment is being distributed into 3 excellent assessments, which are very detailed, really related to the impact, feasibility and editability, to the CA guide, give more advice on top of that, and so on. And then there is good assessments, which are kind of okay assessments, but doesn't really stand out. And then there is assessment that are not good. For example, that are basically filter out. So it can be if they found someone that copy and paste, or if you have provided insultive information, or different ways that basically the assessment is not valid.
Actually, that's already, if you, let's say you give someone 4 stars, but you only tell them, well, I mean, with 4 stars, I guess you could argue about that. But with 3 stars, we give someone 3 stars for auditability, for example, and then you say, well, he provided everything about auditability. It was just a great proposal, and you don't give any explanation as to why he didn't get the other 2 stars, then, or even 1 star, arguably, then your proposal could be filtered out already.
Yeah,
that's really
and then the payment will be accordingly between, I mean, it can get around, I don't know exact, but $150 to an excellent, to $50 to a good review, to $0 for filter out review, more or less. I mean, so you need to calculate it this way. And
to me, it's the time that I'm putting into it, and I put some time into it, and I wanted to just have an idea of what the reward, because our most precious commodity is time at the end.
Yeah, I think, but it's important that also you do that, because you learn a lot in the process. You see a lot what's going on in the community. You learn a lot. I think it's a good learning. You contribute a lot through that by your remarks, and you earn money.
I'll give you an example. I found this co-op in Israel called Sophie through one of the proposals, and now I have a meeting with them to help me with the coding, because I still haven't found the developers.
Okay, excellent.
I think, I mean, I think you're on probably too, but I know Sophie. Sophie's a good guy. I think he was the originator of the open source challenge.
His name is Ofri, and his company. I thought it was Sophie was the name of the co-op. Ofri, yeah.
Is it not Sophie? SoFi? Did you say?
SoFi is the name. I think it's the website is SoFi.coop. So I have a call with him.
I'm not sure if we're talking about the same person. But...
Yeah.
I'm
all right, guys, I'm going to drop out.
I'm sorry that Bart, if anyone knows Bart, he just wrote a message. I'm sorry that he left without talking. Everyone can contribute, so I'm sorry that if anyone knows him or you managed to get in contact with him somehow, I will look for him also. Everyone can contribute here. Just come, listen, see what's happened, and then see how you can come on board. So everyone is important.
Inclusivity. Thank you, Ram, for this, and we'll present you, Simon and I, the two German speaking. Even though I'm bad in German, we're going to present to you our Germanic Excel sheet.
Danke schön.
You said you live in Dubai, Karim, right?
Yes, I live in Dubai.
How is the status in Dubai? I mean, I've heard Dubai is not like a dream city to live in terms of
It's FUD. I've been here 40 on and off 47, 48 years. It's FUD. Dubai is like Cardano. It's a hidden gem.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, every
don't you have like don't do women have to hide themselves and stuff like that?
No, there's G-strings at the beach next to my house. Yeah,
all right.
Google Kite Beach, you'll see it. Kite Beach, Dubai. No, Dubai is a bit like Miami, with a more Asian Arabic twist. Now we have visitors from Israel. I think there's like 7 flights from Tel Aviv a day between Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
7 flights.
I think so. We need to check that. Since before the pandemic, it was 7. Yeah, 7 a day. Dubai, now we changed to the Western weekend, which is amazing. Now Saturday, Sunday instead of Friday, Saturday. So they're aligning with the world. We had Expo that's running for 1 more week here, Expo 2020. Dubai, you have alcohol, you have nightclubs, no gambling yet, but it's in the books. So it's an entertainment city. And they have some rules. So some Islamic rules and obviously certain behavior. So I'm a Christian, so I have a liquor license. I'm allowed to buy alcohol in special stores, but now they opened it up to everyone as well. So yeah, it's there's fun, so you have to just read the news with a critical eye, let's say. Anyway, we won't turn this into a Dubai promotion.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like I haven't really looked too much into Dubai, but that's just like what I heard about it.
Good. Bruno, why you send us something negative for the end? What's happened?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, but when we got into the topic of Dubai,
there are stories.
Listen,
the justice system in Dubai is not Western, right? So if you say anything bad about the rulers, you're going to be in trouble.
So that's why you love it so much.
It's not a democracy. It's a benevolent. It's a benevolent monarchy here. So the rulers are amazing. If you see what they do for their people, and we're residents here. I'm not a citizen of Dubai. I'm a German Canadian citizen. If you see what they do for residents, you'll be, for their citizens, what they do, wow. Those guys turned I came here in 1975, right? It was just desert. And to see what they've done is amazing. The infrastructure, we don't have WhatsApp calling, right? So we have things we want, but you take, they're slowly working on it. Security is an issue in the region. We're surrounded by there have been wars here and things like that. I'm sure some of you can relate. So they're a bit tight on certain things, and the freedom, it's an Islamic country, like the population 100% Islamic, but now we have synagogues. My church has been here since the 70s, so we have churches here. So it's open, but when you a British couple on the beach having sex and the policemen come to them and say, stop doing that, and the woman throws a shoe at him, he's going to arrest you, you know? So you're going to find a lot of stuff in the tabloids, British tabloids, because they come here for very cheap. They get drunk, fortunately, and they misbehave, and then it gets in the news in the UK, right? But if you hit a London policeman with a shoe, I think probably you're going to be arrested. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, right? Anyway, I didn't see the video.
Guys.
Talk to you later, guys. Pleasure.
Thank you very much, Bruno. Great having you here, as always.
Always interesting to hear from other cultures and countries.
Yeah. I mean, this is what makes it special, right? I mean, every time someone takes us to a different place.
Yeah, it's true.
Guys, Simon, you are now in the Caribbean.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna take a swim later on.